Alright guys, what's up? Today I'm going to do another books I own that you should read vlog, and been wanting to do another one of these for a while, so I'll get right to it. As you can see, we have No Excuses and The Power of Focus, which I've already done on a previous video. You need to check those two out if you haven't, especially The Power of Focus. Very awesome book. Here's another one that I just recently acquired. I've mentioned maybe a couple times. It's from Entrepreneur Magazine, The Ultimate Small Business Marketing Guide. Okay, as you can see, this thing is a pretty thick book. I'm not going to get into this one today. I really haven't had a lot of time to look at it. I've been busy looking at other books. But for right now, I'm going to use this time to talk about three books in particular. Okay, the first one is going to be this one called Streamlining Your Life. All right. Now, before I get to the other two, we're going to go ahead and pop this out of books here on my desk. This one is called Streamlining Your Life by Stephanie Culp. It's a 5-point plan for uncomplicated living. I actually bought this at a yard sale maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and the title just completely mesmerized me, because at that time I was just going over we was just trying to get stuff cleaned out for yard sale ourselves. We were trying our best to uncomplicate things with all the different things that I was going over. I didn't have any virtual assistants at the time, working on different things, and this book really jumped out at me. I'd never heard of it, but it seemed too hard to not too hard to pass up. So this is what the front of the book looks like. The back of the book, it's a really old book that has nothing on it at the front here. Just to give you an idea, here we go. It says it's a 5-point plan for uncomplicated living. Have you ever wished that there were 25 hours in a day, prayed that the world would stop revolving so you could catch up? If you're like most people, the answer is yes, 100 times yes. The Fast Track of the 90s, notice that? I told you this was a pretty old book. The Fast Track of the 90s has everyone running to catch up and longing for a less hectic life. As we careen full speed ahead and towards the 21st century, we seem to be losing control over our personal and professional lives. Amen to that, sister. Organization expert Stephanie Culp comes to the rescue with a quick, practical good-humored, and helpful solutions in streamlining your life. Streamlining can be the answer you've been looking for to uncomplicate your life. Apply its 5-point plan for uncomplicated living, and you will adjust your attitude, prioritize and plan goals, obligations, and tasks, eliminate excess, organize what's important to you, create systems to help you function better on a daily basis. Okay? So systems, that is a key word I want you to keep in mind when we're talking about the books that I'm going to review today. Okay, so on the back it says dozens of tips and techniques for streamlining specific areas of your life, from effective meetings and hassle-free holidays to simplifying shopping and organizing your paperwork are also included. Not only does Culp offer methods to achieve an uncomplicated life, she also provides motivation and inspiration along the way. If it seems that there simply isn't enough time in your life to get everything done, you need Stephanie Culp Streamlining Your Life. She's the author of How to Conquer Clutter, How to Get Organized, and Conquering the Paper Pileup, among others. Okay, so she is an expert on clutter and streamlining and things like that. Now let's see, this was from Writer's Digest Books, Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's see what the copyright is. Copyright 1991. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to what we've got, including the contents. We got the introduction, we got streamlining in you, and I'll let you look at that for a second. Okay, and as you'll notice as we go down, you'll see the little stars over here, where I've already talked about in the other books that I own that you should read. If I decide to pick up this book again and read it, I can go immediately to the stars and save a lot of time instead of having to read the whole book again. And I'm actually getting ready to read this book again, hopefully soon, so I can just go back to these stars that you see here, and that'll save me a lot of time. So here we go, part 2, Finding Time. 3, adjust your attitude. 4, overcoming procrastination. That's a definite biggie for me. This book has got so many awesome ideas in here, and I was able to implement a lot of these. Prioritizing planning. Obviously, scheduling is an important one. Day at glance, improving your daily routine, prioritizing people in your life. Number 5, eliminate. Now, if you are familiar with Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, that's an amazing book that talks a lot about elimination of clutter, elimination of things that can be systemized. Okay, so here's some ideas for that. Purging paper is a really good one. Since especially everything today is going towards digital and to the cloud, paper you just shouldn't have a problem with a lot in your life. So the less paper the better. Organizing. 10 weekend projects to help you get organized. Very good. Systemize. This is a very important chapter, talking about how you can create systems to streamline things, to automate things. It's once again, the 4-Hour Workweek talks a lot about that. Okay. Number 8, streamlining for special occasions. Little note I made to myself there, and then the afterword, a final word about staying streamlined. Now, let's see. Just give you an idea. Here's the 5-point streamlining plan. Adjust your attitude, prioritize and plan, eliminate, organize, and systemize. Now, I like the way the book is laid out itself. Like if we go to Chapter 2, Finding Time, you'll see what you must be willing to do. Find time for yourself, delegate, use the telephone, don't waste time, cut down on interruptions. It tells you what you must be willing to do, and then the very thing it does next is the first point is find time for yourself. This is just a small paragraph on what that's talking about, and then after it goes through all these other points with small paragraphs, synopses, you get to the actual main paragraph on that topic. So the first one is what you must be willing to do, find time for yourself. Then the first topic is expounded on even more, how to find time for yourself every day. The second one is delegate. If you want to be finding more time for yourself, you must be willing to delegate. And after we get done with the first point, guess what? That's the very next topic. So she kind of gives you some ideas when you get to how to find time for yourself every day. Then you have it kind of bulletized, for lack of a better word, bulletized in different points here so that you can apply more time or find more time for yourself every day. And the second one, saving time through delegation. Here's some ideas on what to do there. Okay, there's some little, the capital letters are what I refer to as bullet points. Use the buddy system. Don't, tie your secretary's hands. Delegate and all this stuff. Now, the one little thing, I've got 3 stars here, which is a very important idea for me. In order to delegate, you will need to let go of any things that must be perfect. Ideas you might have. And embrace instead the thought, things must get done, okay? Once you've made this minor mental adjustment, you can move on to saving time by delegating. You shouldn't worry about things having to be perfect. Just get things done. And as Tim Ferriss says, you can correct course along the way. Okay, so that is so important. I had to, highlight that. I had to put 3 stars by it to remind me. And I have used that same phrase, and I don't know how many times, to help me realize when I'm getting to my perfection stage, don't worry about getting it perfect. Just get it done, and you can, kind of perfect it or work on it later. That way, the content is out there, and, don't worry about being perfect so much. So that's kind of the layout of the book. It's very easy to read. Each chapter starts with some bullet points that kind of reinforce the idea of what the chapter title is about. For example, this one is Finding Time, Chapter 2. And then you have some bullet points. Do you have time for yourself on a daily basis? Are you able to use the time you spend on the telephone to accomplish more in a short amount of time? If we went to a different chapter, the next one is Adjust Your Attitude. The next thing, we got the same layout. We got a little introductory paragraph, some bullet points that kind of reinforce the chapter's idea. And then we have what you must be willing to do. Once again, you have all the different highlights, the different kind of outline points, and then we go down into expounding that even more. The first thing, committing to change. The first topic, accepting change. Okay, so each one of these things are highlighted here, and each chapter is kind of laid out the same way. This book has a total of, I'm trying to figure out how many pages this thing's got. And you've got a little index in the back, which is awesome. So you got more about the author in the back here, and the last page of the official book here on the final word about staying streamlined is 129. So we got about 129 pages there on streamlining your life. A very, very awesome book. I think it's available on Amazon. Once again, if you'll look on the link below in the very last couple paragraphs down below in the Show More notes, the Show More area, you'll find a link to my Amazon the Amazon page using my link. And if you purchase any of these books through that, that will show your support to my channel here and the videos that I keep coming, the lesson videos, the vlog videos, things like that, because Amazon pays me just a small affiliate commission off of that. It's very minimal, but every little bit counts, every little bit helps. So if you consider buying this book, please consider using that Amazon link below. Okay, the next book in this list of books that I own that you should read is You Can't Steal Second with Your Foot on First. Okay, I got that for 75 cents at a bookstore. Once again, how can you pass up that title? Seriously, how can you pass up that title? Okay, a lot of people today have their foot on first. They're worried to death. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make the right decision. Quit worrying about making the right decision and make a decision already, okay? And you can't go through life, you know, and I love this metaphor because in the book he talks about risk, okay? He talks about risk extensively. He talks about how you can't do anything in life without risking it. You can't wake up in the morning, you know, without risking getting sick that day, or you can't get on the highway without risking taking a wreck. All these different things he talks about, and he talks about how life is all about risk, and it's not as scary as you would think it would be. And like I said, I love the analogy of it being football. You risk every time you try to steal second, you risk getting tagged out. But at the same time, how many baseball players run and try to steal second or third and try to make it home? Why? Because the risk is worth it, because you have a good chance based on your own abilities that you are familiar with and that you know that you can make it to second, that you can make it to third, that you can make it home, that you can publish a product, that you can write a book. You know, you are more familiar with your abilities than just about anybody else, so you know whether it's a risk that you're willing to take, because it will have it may have a great chance of an ultimate return, okay? So more about this book here, why you should choose to become independent in a job-dependent world. Basically, this book is for people, is a must-read for every dissatisfied employee in America. Okay. The name of the guy is Burke Hedges. He's the author of the international bestseller, Who Stole the American Dream? Okay, let's go to the back. That's a picture of him. He is a Cuban heritage. It says Burke inherited his father's love of free enterprise by the age of 28. He had earned over $3 million in 4 different businesses. Today he lives and works in St. Petersburg, Florida, where he oversees several fast-growing companies. Burke has authored 2 books on free enterprise and travels frequently throughout the world giving speeches and seminars on free enterprise in both Spanish and English. So he is of Cuban descent. He talks about his father quite regularly in here, as you'll see on the back here. Is jobism a bigger threat to America than communism? Basically, his definition of jobism is everybody accepting the myth that there is such a thing as job security, and they're under that impression going through life expecting their job to take care of them, when in fact jobs are disappearing like crazy due to overseas and cheap labor and retirements and all this stuff. Pensions and everything are being downsized, and people are being downsized and laid off because of like I said, cheaper labor or machines doing the work of what people used to do, different things like that. And he kind of says, you know, this is just a little bit of background of this book here. You never really appreciate what the word free and free enterprise means until it's been taken from you. And I'm going to read this whole thing, but I'll kind of skim over it here. It says, the sad truth is Americans have conditioned themselves to believe in a movement almost as dangerous as communism. I call it jobism. Under communism, the government takes away your freedom and forces you to depend on them. Forces you to depend on them for all your basic needs. In other words, the government. Under jobism, you voluntarily give away your freedom in exchange for a weekly paycheck. Says that's why he's written this book, to challenge the dissatisfied employees of America to own their lives again by owning their business. Never again having to worry about a boss looking over your shoulders. And not only this guy, but a lot of people talked about, when you have a job, your only source of income is that job. But when you have clients, if you work for yourself and you have clients, if one of your clients stops buying from you, then you have multiple other clients as your sources of income. But if you get laid off your job, which is your only source of income, then that's you're a fish out of water. I mean, that's your whole livelihood, and it's gone. Whereas if you have, your own business, you have other people working under you, or you have multiple clients that you work for, then you lose one or two clients, you're not hurting too bad, You still got the other clients kind of keeping you afloat. Okay, and there's just we'll go over the same thing here. This copyright of this book, I think it was a little bit later than the Streamlining Your Life book, 95. So that's a little bit older. Once again, some of this content is very, what I would call evergreen. It's very good content. Dedication there. And here's what we got going on. Contents. Part 1, either way you pay, okay? To live is to risk. Now that's what I was talking about. From the very first start here, chapter 2, he starts talking about risk and how everything in life is a risk. Change or be changed. Part 2, an American addiction, being broke. Being broke ain't no joke. Being broke versus being poor. The rise and fall of the late great job. This is where he talks about how jobs as we know it, are in danger, and how it's best if you own something and you own your own business. Part 3, an intelligent alternative, independence through free enterprise. Own or be owned. So what's the secret of the wealthy anyway? The ideal business. You can't steal second with your foot on first. It's about chapter 12 when he finally gets into the depths of this. Signing your own personal declaration of independence. You can't judge a book by its cover. And that's the end of that. There's something that I want to go over really quick. And it was very amazing how he talked about this and how he defined this. I really like it. If I can find it. See, I read this. I just got finished reading this. It took me about 2 or 3 days. Just, off and on reading this. It's a very quick read. It only has about 150 pages, something like that. And if I can find where that jobism thing is, he's got an awesome definition of what it is. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see here. Here we go. I love this. Okay, here is one of the definitions here. Communism. Here's the definition. You own 2 cows. And he said he first heard these through history class. This is in the Own or Be Owned chapter on page 87. Communism. You own 2 cows. The government takes both of them and gives you part of the milk. Okay. Communism is when the government owns everything you have and they give you a, pension or salary or something. They own all that you have. Socialism. You own 2 cows. The government takes one and gives it to your neighbor. Sound familiar? You own something. The government wants to take away some of what you have and give it to other people. Redistribution of wealth, okay? Capitalism. You own 2 cows. You sell one and buy a bull. I love that. You have control over what you do, okay? And I'm not sure if he says, here's jobism. Here's what jobism, how it comes along. Your employer owns 2 cows. He pays you a dime to milk the cows and sells the milk for $1. He keeps both cows and all the profits. Okay, now that about sums it up. You're doing the dream and the work of another person who is then taking and selling your talent for 10 times as much to the customer and then giving you a meager salary on that. And he still owns all the profits. He owns all the licenses to the products. They own everything, okay? You're getting paid to fulfill their dream, basically. So why wouldn't you want to be a capitalist where you have the control? You sell a cow and you buy a bull. And guess what? You still have a cow. Okay, so basically, this whole book talks about trying to break out of the job mentality and stake a claim on your own life. Like he talks about risk. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. And this is a poem that he found called Risking. And this is on You Can't Steal Second with Your Foot on First, page 119. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risk must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love, live. Chained by his own fears, he is a slave. He has forfeited freedom. Only a person who risks is free. Okay? So, that's basically his mentality on this. And this book talks about, later on, it talks about the ideal business. It talks about the franchise mentality. It talks about using a system to be able to basically own your own business. Not just starting out with your own system, which is hard, but basically maybe even taking the system of something that has already been proven to work and building upon that. And that leads me to the final book in today's books that I own that you should read, okay? And that is a book that I've recently started to once again read after putting it down for a while, trying to read other books that I've been reading, and that is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, okay? I got this, once again, $3 at a bookstore. You can check these out at the library, or once again, if you want to use my Amazon link below, you can buy these for yourself, used, or buy them new, okay? I haven't checked Amazon about the steal second with your foot on first, but I'm pretty sure, it exists. So check that out. Lastly, this book is all about systems, all about running your business with a franchise mentality and the one thing that he mentions mostly in here is McDonald's. Probably a lot of you who are in business have read this book or heard about it. You can look on YouTube for other videos on it and all these other things that's going on. You can look at other videos that talk about the book, or you can look at Michael Gerber and he will basically can explain what the book is about a lot better than I can. But Michael Gerber here wrote this book, and he uses McDonald's as the prime mentality, the prime poster boy, for lack of a better word, about what the franchise mindset is. You take a system that works, sells billions of dollars, sells billions of hamburgers every year, and it's a proven system, and that's why it costs like $1 million or more to own a McDonald's, because it's a proven system. It works. Once you break the system, once you change the system falls apart. So, not that you have to go into business with a McDonald's, but that you have to think of your business as a franchise. Not that you want to, go out there and make a bunch of your businesses all over the world, but you need to systemize your business like a franchise has systems. When one thing gets done, it gets passed to another person who takes care of this. It gets passed to another person who takes care of this. If there's problems, it goes to this part of the system and that takes care of it. That way you're not doing it all yourself. And this book is a lot about delegating as well, just like streamlining your life is when it talked about delegation earlier. That's why I feel these three books are really good together. So let's go ahead and get on into this. And the example he uses is a bakery, I think. I think the girl's name is Sarah, and she's having problems with her bakery. She's doing it all on her own, and before long, she ends up hating it because she's doing all the work. And his mentality is here, his theory is that most people strike out on businesses so that they can become an entrepreneur. And that's the E-myth, is that most people think that just because they want to run a business that they're an entrepreneur, and that's not always the case. If I'm not mistaken, that's basically it in a nutshell. And maybe it'll say on the back when I get to that what the actual definition is. But he says most people who want to go out on the job have a job that they're doing, and they think, well, I'm getting paid to do this, but I could do this on my own and get paid much more. But the problem with that is that's the technician in you talking. That's the person who knows how to do the job, not necessarily how to run a business. And the whole mentality of this book is working on your business as an entrepreneur thinks, rather than in your business as a technician thinks. Oh, I can do this, so I can run a business. No, that's not the case. So, blah, blah, blah. I'm rambling on here, but that's basically, this is the hinge around the other two books that I talked to you about. So, let's go ahead and go on the back here. The E-Myth Revisited was voted the #1 business book by Inc. 500 CEOs. Inc. 500, I guess. I don't know. Then we got to go down here. Let's see. The E-Myth dispels the myths surrounding your own business and how commonplace assumptions can get in the way of running businesses. It talks to you through the steps of the life of a business, from entrepreneurial infancy through adolescent growing pains to the mature entrepreneurial perspective, the guiding light of all businesses that succeed, and shows how to apply the lessons of franchising to any business, whether or not it is a franchise, okay? Then he draws a vital, often overlooked distinction between working on your business and working in your business. After you've read the E-Myth Revisited, you will truly be able to grow your business in a predictable and a productive way, okay? And I'm going to go over here and try to find his definition of E-Myth. But before I do, let me go ahead and show you this. This is copyright 1995 and 2001. Okay, so in this, it originally came out in like the 80s, I think, I'm not mistaken. But in the introduction here, he says it's been like 15 years. It was first published, 15 years since it was first published. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what that was. But anyway, let's go ahead and find the E-Myth definition here. There's a myth in this country, I call it the E-Myth, which says that small businesses are started by entrepreneurs risking capital to make a profit. This is simply not so. The real reasons people start businesses have little to do with entrepreneurship. In fact, this belief that the entrepreneurial myth is the most important factor in the devastating rate of small business failure today. Understanding the E-Myth and applying that understanding to the creation and development of small business can be the secret to any business success. And once again, look that up. Look up Michael E. Gerber on YouTube and the E-Myth and all that, and there's like a 30-minute thing where he's talking in front of people while sitting on a stool, and it's a wonderful overview of this book. If you haven't seen that, go check that out on YouTube. Once again, this is from the introduction, page 3 here. So let's go to the contents here and see what this is about. We got the acknowledgments, forward, introduction, part 1, the E-Myth, and the American small businesses. Once again, there are stars here to let me know which chapters are the bomb. Okay, so we have the different chapters here, what the entrepreneur is about. The entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. Once again, as I just talked about the technician earlier. Infancy, the technician's phase. Adolescence, getting some help, which is, where you delegate things, where you hire other people, where you create a system. Beyond the comfort zone, maturity, and the entrepreneurial perspective. Part 1 was the E-Myth. Part 2 is the turnkey revolution, a new view of business. The turnkey revolution, basically talking about franchise, how you go in, you turn the key just like an engine of a car. An engine of a car is a system that runs pulleys and wheels and cogs and pistons and things like that. You turn the key and it works. Okay, that's basically what this part is about. Franchise prototype, working on your business, not in it. Once again, that's 2 stars, so that lets me know that's very important. Right now, I'm only at about 121. And this has, looks like just over 250 pages, maybe around 260, 270 pages. Okay, so let's continue on here. Part 3, building a small business that works. And I'm on page 121, so I just started part 3. Chapter 10, business development process. You're this, you're that, you're all these strategies that you can come up with to create a system. And so Sarah, yeah, that was the lady that was running the bakery shop or whatever that was having problems, and he had to sit down and consult with her about running her business like a franchise and creating systems and getting people to help. Bring the dream back to American small business, afterward taking the first step. I can't wait to finish this book. I've just been, like I said in my last hangout, well, one of my last hangouts, depending on when this comes out, I have been overwhelmed with trying to, read a bunch of library books all the time, getting things out and reading those. But I have, kind of put the library on the shelf, so to speak, and I'm going to start using and reading books that I have already and going back over those and kind of refreshing on those. So this is one of those that I bought recently that I never did finish, and I wanted to finish. But I do highly recommend this one. You should definitely read this one. And it's really helped me have another mindset. And like I said, the whole car thing, the analogy that I talked about earlier, is a system. I realized that the other day when I was getting my wife's car worked on. And I got to look at all the different wheels and pulleys and everything. And I got to thinking, this is exactly the way my business needs to run. Everything has its function. And I'm starting to think of that mindset. I'm starting to put strategies in place to where my business can, ultimately, hopefully, run without me. I can kind of oversee what's going on, and then I can still have time to create content, create products, and things like that, while all the other stuff, once I get that done, all the other stuff is taken care of for me by virtual assistants and, people that I hire to help me get this process going. So, thanks so much once again. Let's go ahead and put the 3 books down here on display. Check out Streamlining Your Life by Stephanie Culp. You Can't Steal Second with Your Foot on First by Burke, Hedges. And The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Click that Amazon link below. It'll take you directly to Amazon, and it will be helping me as well if you decide to purchase these or any other products from that link. I do appreciate that. Thank you for watching today. Please click the like button if you like this, the thumbs up, in other words. And comment below. Tell me what you think about these books and maybe some other books that maybe be similar to the whole systems delegation, kind of entrepreneurial mindset. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about these videos. And there are definitely more lesson videos on the way. Definitely more Bluegrass Guitar Essential videos on the way. So please stay tuned for that. And I'm going to go ahead and get off here, call it a day, and get ready for a singing I got to go to tonight. It's a wonderful, lovely day. And I think I will end right now with a nice shot of the sun outside and a nice day that I have from the view of my office. Thanks so much for watching. This may have killed the lighting on the camera, but that's all right. Have a great day. Have a great time reading these books. And guys, I will see you guys later. Thanks so much. God bless.